fixing it, and he broke it again. This is crazy, man. So the shaft here went through, and imagine the screws are still there on the other side. So therefore it broke the screw when it went through all this. So these screws are not holding it well. So I bought this famous RPM arms. So these are the rear A arms of the Arrma Kraton Italian Outcast. So they're like originally for the V1 to V4 Kraton, not the EXB, not the V5 ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna fit it in anyway, and I'm sure it's gonna work. It costs around 15 euro for us, for me here in Europe, but this is only like $15 in US or $16 in US. So it's not really expensive. It's an upgrade for actually the same price. So the price of the original Arrma Kraton arms is really the same, like literally. So these are also identical, front, back, but it says here letter R means right, letter L means left, but it can also be like switched. And an RPM sticker. So I'm going to weigh. This is the original one. It comes with the EXB 60 plus grams. For the RPM arm 51. That's the right arms and the left arms. The EXB on the RPM one. So I'm gonna set aside the right because this is the one that broke. Like thickness wise, of course the EXB is much thicker than the RPM, but their shapes are different. Like we have the EXB flat all the way here, while the RPM is like having a lot of curves. And like there's some engineering behind this design here, so it will absorb and flex whenever there's like too much amount of force. So for the screw positioning, so I have end to end here, they're the same. So these are the shock slots or the shock screws. The RPM one are like having less options here. The EXB has shocks closer to the body. That's why the angle, the RPM would be more lying down like this, while the EXB is more angled that way. The positioning of the tube screw are also somehow different. They're not aligned. Look, the tube screw is closer to the body. This one is farther from the body. Sway bar. So it's a bit placed far for the RPM. This sway bar here doesn't reach. I'd be needing a longer sway bar. So I'm not going to use the sway bar anyway, because there's no use at all. I mean, it's only used for racing. So the RPM one is like less in size, and the EXB is much thicker. I mean the round area there. If you notice, everything's closer to the chassis because of the geometry of the shock tower. So if you see the shock tower, like there's a difference from the V4, V3 against the V5 and the EXB. As you notice, the RPM is designed to be thinner for the purpose of having it like flexing it during the I can flex it, but it's hard to break, so it's more flexible. I'm really finding it hard to break actually, whereas this one is also a bit flexible, but more of a, it's also flexible, but it has a lower breaking point. This is the stock EXB pin, and this is too big for the RPM. This is an M3 screw. This is around 20 mm or 18 to 20 mm long, so better fit into this screw here. And that's all good. It's not moving now. It fits well, and there's no play. The droop screw is not really bad. The droop screw just barely touches. So the RPM arms, the truck will have lower stance. There, I just made my new mud guard. So I'm using the RPM rear suspension arms. That was bad. Okay, the RPM arms are okay, no damage at all. So this is the right arm, it's still okay, but the left arm is dead and it's popped out again. So it means that it broke through those screws there that put on and then put in. So those screws are broken. It's popped out of this hinge pin. So therefore my fix is not effective, it's not working well. So I'm going home and put on the other one again.